Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Saying that you're the best, you gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world combat sports. Talking way too much, world combat sports. Talking way too much, world combat sports.
Yo, shout out to the hottest in the game. A-Side official. You already know WCS back in the building. Post-fight. Times Square. Man, we already know what it is. Let me get right down to it. I'm not competing for your approval, but I just want to convey my thoughts right quick. You did, and you have heard that I mentioned this some weeks ago. Did I not? Did I say that Turki Al-Sheikh's card is looking a little strange? Didn't I tell you all that? It's just something's not sitting well with me about his cards. I said, now I'm beginning to see the manipulation. We're beginning to see Turki walk freely, and he do not care because there's nobody for him to answer to. We seen fights go the distance, and you say to yourself, that shouldn't have went the distance. I said, if the Times Square card, all three fights go the distance, then that just proves my point, that he's playing by his own rules, and that's all that matters. Sure enough, people, all three of the main event cards went the distance. Shout out to Carlos Rosado in the building. What's good with it, Carlos? Shout out to my guy Haynes Legacy in the building. What's good? Blessings to you. You know what I'm saying? Prayers as always, my brother. He says the hocus pocus. You already know. Strictly like that. Shout out to Swat Jones. What's good? What's good? Malik in the building. Hey, Swat. Hey, I tried to tell him. I tried to tell you all that Turki is changing the game for his own pleasure. And his own pleasure is people being sacrificed. What we saw tonight, I'm going to agree with what Malik said. This was one of the worst, weary, like mind-blowing, hallucinating. I'm talking about psychological, debilitating, super strange. It take you back to what's that movie? What was that movie called? You know, so many movies out here that's dealing with the brain and all this AI and fictional type shit. But what you witnessed today, people, was once again the ringmaster showing you how he performs. He can sit right there on the front row knowing that he's orchestrated this entire freaking card. Just think about this. Teofimo Lopez came out there with Barbosa. Barbosa was the opponent that was slapped, somewhat similar to Conor Ben, but without the over easy. And that dude came out there like him and T.O. went to Catholic school together. Like they used to fix each other's lunches and pack them up during meal prep days back in elementary and have each other's back in freaking Catholic school. He didn't seem like he was mad at nothing. Look, somebody explain to me, how can three fights that hold some of our biggest names, right? Some of our bigger names in the sport that's supposed to be making all these moves. How can they fight the way they did and Conor Benn was in the audience? Look, I can hear Conor Benn now talking to his dad. I can beat them all. I can beat them all. They're trash. They can't beat me. Conor Benn was in the audience watching this train wreck in the middle of Times Square play out. One of the worst fight cards I've seen in a long time. And I know people are refusing to activate and speak their mind on this the way it's supposed to. I'm hearing people already giving Rolly Romero, y'all. Hold up. Before you say a mother effing word, I'm seeing people congratulate, and now they bringing Rolly Romero up like his career has been redeemed. There's a resurgency in Rolly Romero's career. Can you imagine this shit? Can you imagine Times Square was cut off to the rest of the public in New York? This was supposed to be the cars of all cars. We was waiting for some of the biggest names. You had 3 unified champions, former unified champions. You had Jose Ramirez, you had Teofimo Lopez, and you had Devin Haney. Rolando Romero, he is a former world champion. Indeed. No doubt about it. And Barbosa, he was wishing upon a star. You know, playing in the freaking lily pads, looking for a 4-leaf in the lilies, looking for a 3 or 4-leaf clover. This guy came out with Teofimo Lopez and did nothing to take his head off. Teofimo started off early, did the same thing Teo usually does, switched up the rhythm and flow, and pretty much just hit the brakes a little bit and allowed Barbosa. Same shit he did with Sandor Martin, same shit he did with Jermaine Ortiz. Wasn't impressed. And look, when you know Mike Coppinger, when he should have finished up the interview, he let Teo grab the mic and start talking about, you know, when Michael Jackson, he said it, I tell you, be friendly to everybody. If you want something in life, go grab it. Even if it means being racist. Go grab it. Because in the end, it's the results that count. Now, I've messed up in life and I pissed people off. It won't be my last. But little kids out there, if you're looking for a role model, I'm not your guy. But I can give you a motivational speech. No. You know what I did pay attention to that you can say I'm being petty about? It seems like I didn't hear a lot of these cats talking about God. Like I could have sworn Teo said the Most High. You know, Teo said the Most High, and then I thought he was high. Why did I think that? It's because he called out Boots. Boy, you better sit your Honduran behind in a seat full of thumbtacks and put the seatbelt on. No, nobody's trying to see you fight Boots after that performance. Boots will have you up here looking like Ryan Garcia, goddammit. What were we looking at? Somebody explain what were we looking at tonight? This is supposed to be everything that we hoped for and dreamed of, with a guy coming into boxing with money and putting on these type of fights in the U.S. It was a slap in the face. It was a blatant slap in the face, bro. Like I always say, with cactus sleeves. I'm talking about desert, them big, thick desert cactus. He slapped you in the face with him, bro. Because I told you all the other day. I said, hey, what if these 3 fights and these 3 main fights in Times Square go the distance? And sure enough, fighters that you was looking to return to the ring didn't show us anything. The people, if you want to ever talk about people falling asleep and being bored, the only reason that you didn't see more people snoozing off while the camera was hot is because probably some mosquitoes, gnats, they were outside. Maybe some drivel of raindrops was pretty much bouncing off their brow and the bridge of their nose, running down their chin. Maybe they was a little bit irked by that. They put on some nice attire, you know what I'm saying, designer clothing, just to go out here and sit in some uncomfortable chairs and watch this talent show play out. And now introducing from Riyadh season, the one and only Ringmaster Turki Al-Sheikh. Say hello to the Ringmaster, y'all. He gave us what you wasn't looking for. People had so much hope that the card was going to be something special. And I'm not going to lie to you. There were other exterior reasons why people did not fall asleep. I saw Dougie Fisher. Dougie was up there doing the Dougie. Every time I look over there, his head was swaying back and forth. Teach me how to Dougie. Teach me how to Dougie. Teach me how to Dougie. Teach me. I mean, he got down, was fighting that sleep monster. Dougie was over there looking like he was Asian. For real. It was hard for him to keep his eyes open. Look, Dougie was almost about to put some staples or some toothpick in between his eyes to keep him open, because he was about to doze off. I don't want to hear anything about somebody saying something about, you know, they can't wait. I thought for just a good minute or two that Turkey was doing good for the sport. It's not that he don't have the money. It's what he's doing with the money. It's what we're seeing play out in front of our eyes that we couldn't, if we didn't think boxing could get any worse, it just have. It has. Right in front of us. I mean, the controversy is right there, front and center. You don't need any more action. We're seeing it go down right here. Like this is a gut-wrenching type fight card. I'm gonna be honest, because people have been waiting for 2025 to take off. And when we found out that the Ring would be putting on this fight card, I said several times that the card wasn't as top tier as I would like. And I know the boxers don't worry about that. But I also made mention about the main event, which I get to a little later, right? And real soon, Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez, a former unified champion facing a former unified champion. I have to give Devin his stamp, legacy stamp. He was undisputed, earned it over there in Australia ×2, the Aussie double. Came back and defended the second time against Lomachenko. Those days have expired. Moving on to 140 pounds, he defeated Regis Prograis. Now, he steps into the ring where Ryan Garcia is full of controversy. You know what I'm saying? The pounds, the freaking, the pads, the suspension and all that. The one thing about it is he had every opportunity to take a tune-up fight before he stepped in there with Ryan, but he chose not to. Okay. So when I seen Devin take the square and from the opening bell, he wasn't throwing a punch, and I was like, then he's trying to get his footing back. But then I looked down at his shoe, his straps coming loose. It just seems like his footwork wasn't there. And look, he's been out the ring for a minute, but also I want to see for myself, did the damage that Ryan Garcia inflicted on him, did it do any residual? Was there still any residual effect to that? And early on, it seemed like it was in correlation. You know what I'm saying? But he picked up the pace. But still, the fight was nothing like we imagined. Jose Ramirez, you would think he would be the fighter that was crumbling to the canvas in the second round like Ryan Garcia. But no. Look, I even commended Devin for having one of the best physiques I've seen, in a long time from him. No lie. I thought it was his best physique, but it just seems like it was a little heavy on him. When he did land his shots, cool. They was very punctual. The appointment was there. But still, the activity level, the excitement, the entertaining, no. See, these cars today, I cannot grade them a 1 through 10 off entertainment value because that's too close. That's too close. If I was to ask somebody, hey, 1 out of 10, what would you grade this? And they might say something like a 7. And I'm like, bro, see, that's what, okay, let's try this again. Let's try 1 and 1 million. Okay. Is that better? Maybe 1 in 10 is too close. I just felt like a 2-division champion. We're talking about a potential fight between you and Ryan rematch. All alone, I'm knowing that the Ringmaster has a plan. I'm not gonna lie, I bet it. I would have rather liked to bet some old 14-karat jewelry, some old Japanese yen currency, but I bet it US dollar. I did. I thought, you know what? I'm doing some brainstorming. I'm trying to put everything together. I said, I know Turkey's up to something. I know he's up to something. God damn it. I know he is. This fight right here, it should go this way, but it's not going to go that way. He thinks people don't know, but I know. I thought I had Turkey all figured out. So I bet it on the Teofimo fight. Why would I put it on a guy like Teofimo? Because I thought he would be able to make some money, make the people some money, because they're not going to expect him to go in there and do something crazy. Well, I was wrong. Turkey Al-Sheikh, are you listening? Can I please get my refund, please? Yeah, you can send it via Zelle or Cash App. Because no, I gotta stay on the Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez. It's just when you start talking about this fight card, you start combining the fighters together on what they didn't do. The entertainment value with your compeers in the audience, sitting down. I saw the Keyshawn Davis, Abdullah Masons. I mean, I seen Carissa Shields, the GWOAT, up there with Papoose. I seen Connor Ben over there. I seen even content creators, KSI and I Show Speed, right? I mean, come on. They was there. But what I also seen was KSI. He looked like he had 3 bottles of bourbon, not because he was drinking, but he was trying to fight through the fog of boredom. I caught him. I was calling people up. Hey, man, go over there and slap KSI and wake his ass up. What did he think he was coming to? Did he not listen to my live? I said the shit was going to be set up. Hopefully that word didn't get y'all. Maybe, okay, let me use a more reduced, when it comes to being abrasive. Let me lower it. What about fixed? Oh, my bad. It's not really a synonym that I can come up with that's going to sound any better. I'm just totally disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I'm not here to pretty much trade insults, go back and forth with people who believe they watch the best card. See, one thing I understand about boxing fans is that they refuse in this era with these type of boxing fans, they refuse to acknowledge what they're watching. They have watched these boxers. We have watched Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez perform at a higher level than this. You went in there with Lomachenko, bro. I don't give a damn if it was 135. You went in there with Regis Prograis. I don't give a damn it's 140. Jose Ramirez, you went in there with Josh Taylor. You've been in there with some other names, Arnold Barbosa, right? But you come in here with no sense of urgency. Devin act like he didn't have a sense of urgency. All along, I'm wondering to myself, y'all. I'm talking about in my sobriety. That's not even the word. Sobriety. I'm sober. I'm sipping on agua, right? I'm saying to myself, did him and Garcia already make the fight? Because, I was trying to troubleshoot that too. I was out there doing my own research. I went through the closet. I'm throwing shit in the back. I'm looking for my Sherlock Holmes hat. I said, God damn it, where's my pipe? I said, I want to do my own investigation. I want to try to figure this out. Shout out the wild dog himself, Captain Chaos in the building. What's good with it, bro? I see him on deck. Saw Jones say, no cap, you said it. Hey, man. Hey. I tried my best to warn people. But you can't warn individuals that are not good listeners. They just want to hear themselves talk, and that's it. But it's unanimous. It's a unanimous decision across the board that each one of the main events, they say it was 3 main events, each one of these joints went the distance, yo. Do you know how agitated you are that the state of boxing is once again being paraded? Hey, do you see what I'm talking about? Boxing once again is being made into a skit. We're now on Sesame Street. There's a whole lot of goofy looking characters going around that you expected them to be certain ways because you watched them fight earlier and they're not turning out the way they did before. And they're not that old. And you're saying to yourself, it's only one person, the ringmaster himself. The ringmaster is in charge. The ringmaster is making this shit happen. 2 fights that didn't live up to the billing. Teofimo Lopez, Arnold Barbosa. Barbosa did not have the Conor Benn energy. Conor Benn went in there and tried to unalive Chris Eubanks. I mean, he was going in there to try to put that man in a mobile chair with 2 wheels. He was trying his best to debilitate, cripple. That's how Conor Benn went in there. Arnold Barbosa came in there like he didn't have a sense of urgency or care in the world. Devin Haney came out in the early rounds, and I was saying to myself, oh, hell no. These guys took a car. They had these guys coming over here in a DoorDash, Uber Eat taxi cab just because the cars was a little dressed up, right? They had these guys motorcade to the ring proximity, then get out and go into the ring. I can understand them being outside and everything. They wanted to chauffeur them to the ring. Cool. But I don't know what it all did. What did it all do for them? Because it seems like while they was in the car, they was hotboxing or something. Where was Mike? Did anybody have eyes on Mike? They talk about EJ and how he walked to the ring and he was high. Did anybody have eyes on Mike? Mike Tyson was in the building. I want to know what was all these fighters doing before they got in their damn vehicle? Did somebody do a field sobriety test? Was Mike handing out care packages like he did EJ? Because these fighters went up into the ring and they just didn't give us what we were looking for. Then we get to the main event. This is the main event of all main events. Why? Because word has it, my fault. I'm speaking like it's present tense. I apologize, y'all. I'm apologizing my olden days. Word had it. Word was, okay? What it was is that Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney was supposed to have a rematch. Why? Because it was a backstory of all stories, the court cases, the freaking media backlash, all the verbal sparring and accusations and insults that was going back and forth between these two. Yes, um, I told people back then. I said, look at what Turkey's doing. Ryan Garcia goes on this racist rant, and Turkey invites them to the Ring Magazine Awards. Not only that, the fighter that he inflicted all that damage on, who did everything he was supposed to do right that night, he also brings him up there to present an award. And then the other guy who decided to tag along because he's a follower, Teofimo Lopez, was invited up to the Ring Magazine Award. So you have these familiar names that all of a sudden are going through a fog of controversy, but Turki Al-Sheikh selects to provide them with an invite over there in London for the Ring Magazine Awards. That was only the start, because I guess they went over there and no telling what happened. No telling what happened, because Diddy's on trial. I can't imagine what happened over there. I'm just saying, I couldn't really, assume what happened, but all I'm saying is all of them was invited over to I'm like, did you fix your lips to say boost? It's no way in hell, yo. There's no way he fixed his lips to say boost. There's no way. Shout out to Jessica, the boxing queen in the building. I see you. Shout out to OG Mr. Golden in the building. Salute to you. Lil Jim Turk is Muslim, and the ring say it's the Bible of boxing. But Muslims believe the Bible is corrupt. That translates to me as corruption of boxing. Just saying, man, come on now. Come on, why are you up here, making all those dang woke, those movements? They say don't be woke today unless you're not willing to awaken others. That makes all the divine sense in the world, huh? Let's not get up here acting like you're trying to be scholars. Okay, we gotta keep this at a level as if we do not quite understand what we witnessed tonight. And we need to continue to pretend or put on a facade and masquerade around here like we are stupid and naive to the bouts that we go on. We got our fight fans, man. I'm telling you, the future's in trouble. We have some of these fight fans looking at these fights as the first thing they want to do is make up excuses, bro. They want to make up excuses. Let me read that again. Turk is Muslim, and the ring says it's the Bible of boxing. But Muslims believe that the Bible is corrupt. That translates to me as the corruption of boxing. Talk that shit, man. Talk it. Let them know, man. Somebody has been reading, trying to educate others. I'm not trying to sit up here and sing no song because I know this is not, that type of damn live stream. But I think really what I want to do is I just want to shed a tear because I think in a cruel way, I thought boxing was on the downward spiral, but even more now, it just seems like it's even worse, man. It just seems like people have locked in. I don't want to say they sold themselves, but they're locked in. Like Ryan Garcia sacrificed his win and also sacrificed his potential fight with Devin Haney for whatever the reason. Why do I say that? You're not going to tell me you just stop learning how to box all because now all of a sudden you coming in off Osterine. Nah. Ryan didn't have a scratch on his face. Ryan was never in no real trouble. I keep telling people because a lot of these cats don't go to gyms. They haven't been around and seen some of these big dogs spar. But look, I try to explain to them, these fighters know how to go in there and stink the place up. Yeah, I'm talking about double fart funky with the windows rolled up with no AC. And both of your arms are just long enough to grab onto the steering wheel. I'm talking about super funky. They know how to stink the place up and move around like they do in sparring. If people just took enough time to say, I know what these fighters have to do to prepare for a fight. That means going round after round after round of sparring. When you seen Ryan Garcia step in there with Rolly was dusted by Isaac Cruz. Right? Dusted. He went in there and was blasted by Tank. They were saying, man, I wonder if Rolly, still has a chin. Check this out. I'm not finished. Footage was released that he got dropped by fairly unknown boxer in sparring. Also, Rolando Romero was being whipped by his elder, Ismael Barroso, and Tony Weeks stepped in to save the day. You know what I'm saying? And we all seen that was one of the worst stoppages in our recent time. But look, you remember when I told y'all that Rolly said he was a 2-time world champion? All because he was gifted a Jackson Marinez win in Connecticut that day? Remember when I told you that? How he looked terrible against Jackson Marinez? And then he turned around and go in there and get gifted a title, a world championship. And people talk about boxing. You got people up here debating every day, arguing that boxing is alive and well. Well, I get it. For quite some time now, some of you just look for a slight pulse. It's just like being hooked up to dialysis or some type of, machine to keep you alive, but your brain dead. That's what some of you boxing fans are giving off to me. Like you brain dead and you can't understand what's going on, bro. Rolly just came in there and won the WBA Reggie title. Well, no, it gets even better. It gets even better. If you can see me behind the mic, I'm trying to work on my sign language. For real, I'm trying to learn how, continue to practice on my ASL. But you know what else is crazy? Is that when the fight was over, they had said that Rolando Romero was ahead of Ryan Garcia because he got the knockdown in the second round. And he was just giving it to Garcia. Wow. He was just laying on the knuckle sandwich, just slapping him. You know what I'm saying? Egg over easy. He was just dominating. So I saw Devin Haney on the ring apron. I said to myself, why would he be on the ring apron? Why would he be over there on Rolando Romero's side on the ring apron? And you know, I was just trying to put these two pieces together. I said clearly Ryan Garcia lost this fight. But with so much corruption and masquerading, do he actually believe that somebody within the umbrella of the ring was going to rob Rolando Romero again? No, he already got robbed. He already got robbed. You know where he got robbed at, right? You know where Rolly got robbed at? Rolly was robbed when he decided to take up the sport of boxing. Look, Rolando Romero, I say this all the time, he'll be the first to fight. You know, if anybody want to throw down, Rolando will be the first to fight. Motherfucker strong. He wore that weight good today. But Rolando Romero was robbed of being what you consider a great athlete. Rolando Romero is not a great athlete, but he's lovable, just like a teddy bear. Rolando Romero, when you talk to him, he says some of the most dumbest shit. And he really have people lowering their own IQ and making it seem like they didn't graduate from, high school with a basic education. They had to do a correspondence course and get tutoring just to get out of high school. Rolando Romero was robbed of being a great athlete. He is no way, shape, or form a great boxer. But you know what I'm hearing already? I'm hearing people jump on the Rolando super train that just pulled away from the station tonight. They want to jump on the Rolando Romero super train because he was in a fight with Ryan Garcia, where Ryan Garcia clearly went in there and sacrificed a loss. Clearly, y'all. Be honest with yourself. It's not just Haynes up in here that peeps out. And come on, man. It's several of you that's watching and listening this live. You understand the shit wasn't fair. You understand that Ryan Garcia didn't even perform the way he did against Tank Davis. He didn't perform the way he did against Oscar Duarte. He didn't perform that way, yo. When he stepped in there with Devin Haney, how did you all of a sudden hit a mental block where you come in there and you forget how to throw combinations? Look, y'all. Hold up. Because I always hear people talking about Tank Davis this and Tank Davis that, right? Tank Davis hit Ryan Garcia with a left hand in the second round. Okay? He hit that man with a left hand and Ryan Garcia got up. He would later go on to get stopped in the seventh, but it wasn't a left hand to his face that stopped him. He took a shot to the body. Here comes Rolando Romero in 2025, and he lands a sharp. He did left hand. Well, you know, oh my God, how the ink dries so quickly. Talking about practicing the dramatics. The suspense is freaking amazing. Shout out to the screenwriters. I swear to God. This is amazing. Rolly Romero hits Ryan Garcia in the second round of all rounds, y'all. Of all rounds. The second round, yo. How? How can you get dropped in the second round from a Rolando Romero left hand? When did Rolly become the star? Why did Ryan have to sacrifice his loss to get back in the good graces? Was it because he shitted on the Muslims? Was it? Why did he have to sacrifice? Why? Clearly, he wasn't putting forth max effort in there with Romero. Clearly, you don't need a control study. A group of people in the room. Now, I want you all to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? I asked you not to eat after 0800 this morning. Who all ate after that? Okay. I want you to be clear-headed. All right. I have some beverages over there that you can get after the study. But by a show of hands, who, after watching this fight, who believes that Ryan Garcia was fighting in the way you always seen him? Do you believe he was giving max effort? I want you to be honest now. Turkey's not going to find out about this. This is a private control study. It's no way that you're going to convince anyone that this fight was supposed to be. You got the fighter that you've always seen. You got the Ryan Garcia that was amped up against Devin Haney, Oscar Duarte, Gervonta Davis, Javier Fortuna. Yeah, we can't forget Javier. Come on now. Who like a can of tuna fish every now and then now? This man went in there like he just barely passed boxing for dummies. And he really didn't know how to really feel free out there in that canvas. Like that was one of his first times out there on this level, on the bright lights. Ryan Garcia did not perform up to standards. Rolly Romero, if he had any aspirations to legitimately call himself a two-time world champion, it was tonight. Talking about a Stromboli salad, Rolly Romero is the WBA Reggie title holder, y'all, at 147 pounds. If you want to, it's something special about Rolly. I'm not lying to you no more. It's something special about Rolando Romero. I don't know, where his dad, were they blessed by some higher being, some higher power? I don't want to say power. I want to say being, a being that is outside of the Earth's stratosphere, something that may be, considered to be of different form, something on the outer realm of Earth, because he's been gifted for some of the most memorable fights that he wasn't supposed to win. And Ryan Garcia allowed him to dominate tonight. He allowed him to dominate. Ryan Garcia wasn't doing shit. I've tried to freaking hold my tongue without, using vulgarity and any other hostile type of language. But Ryan Garcia wasn't doing shit tonight. He's much better than that. You know it and I know it. He said, Ryan better just focus on the fact you lost to Rolly Romero on points like you would have did better getting KO'd. Look, when you come to the paperwork, yes, he lost on points. When you come to the logistics based off what was supposed to happen vice what actually happened, it's BS, man. It's BS, bro. I'm not moving away from it. Let's go through something right quick, y'all. All right. Let's tag along right quick. So I say, Bill about to have a field day tomorrow. What's Ron rebuttal gonna be now? Towards Bill and his Avengers about to be up at 6 a.m. with videos. The Haney's back after Ron lost. No. You didn't give me a time to finish and zip it up. I kind of left it there open for a reason, right? Beat this out. You remember when I said that Devin hop up on the ring apron? He actually thought that they was going to rob Rolando Romero so he can go in there and they was going to announce the fight between him and Ryan. How? Why? How can you think? Bro, that was embarrassing, man. And look, I actually felt bad for whoever was up here playing these games and writing this script on these fighters, bro. He thought that we was going to get a Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Golovkin, announcement. Let me read you something the boxing scene said, right? In comparison to how these media segues um translate a fight card that happened today, especially the fights that we was looking forward to. This is Boxing Scene. It says making a fight before another is complete has long been hazardous undertaking in prize fighting. And those involved in allowing Ryan Garcia to fight Rolando Rolly Romero before Devin Haney now has one of the darker tales to share. In a scintillating show, as a 7-1 betting underdog, that pisses me off, god damn it. I saw that shit just lingering and dangling up there. I saw it dangling up there like an old chicken bone. I said, no, they're not going to do. No, this ain't the time for Rolly Romero. And sure enough, it was. It goes on to say, Romero knocked down Garcia in the second round, captured the WBA secondary welterweight belt by unanimous decision, and took a great deal of shine off the planned late fall rematch between bitter rivals Garcia and Haney. Now, going back to Devin jumping on the ringside apron and listen to what they just said. Did you hear what Rolly Romero said? I think Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney should still fight because they deserve it. One thing about Rolly, he's a nice dude, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I just kind of, he's a nice dude. He has done a nice deed for me. Like I tell people, he went up there and picked up my camera hood that rolled up there past the barrier one time that dropped out of my lap. And also he was cool people back then before the fame. But I look at this, right, and I say to myself, like, did anyone know? I just want to try to get an interview with the people who know, man. Why couldn't I have been on the inside? That's 7-1. You heard me mention this on here about the Buster Douglas effect. This was it. It wasn't a full effect. I think Buster was like 14-1, some crazy high number. This was that. And it was sitting right there all alone, man. It was sitting right there in the main event. Just like a fat kid on a seesaw. It was sitting right there. Rolly Romero against Ryan Garcia. This should be sealed, cut, and dry that Ryan Garcia is going there and smoke Rolly. But Ryan Garcia was in the main event. He got paid for being in the main event, but he had to sacrifice a loss. Boxing Scene goes on to say, an individual familiar with the deal but unauthorized to speak publicly about it told Boxing Scene on Friday night that Romero, by winning, is due to replace Garcia and fight Haney in early fall. Garcia promoter Oscar De La Hoya told Boxing Scene after the bout that Garcia, Haney, too, will happen eventually. Quote, Devin and Ryan can have their rematch, Romero said in the ring. Keeping a promise the former WBA 140-pound title holder made after replacing former 140-pound belt holder Isaac Cruz as Garcia's opponent in a unique event that drew hundreds toward a ring they were kept from viewing because of red blanketed chain link fence that surrounded the ring. Garcia felt their pain, but not seeing the crushing pair of Romero left hand that sent him to the canvas early in the second round. I'm not here to read the whole article. I just wanted to give you a gist of how Boxing Scene delivery is when it comes to reporting. They're the best at it. Let me take you next door to the hood. Let me take you to the media projects, okay? Okay? This is Boxing News 24. Rolando Romero rejuvenated his career by defeating the heavy favorite, Ryan Garcia, in a 12-round unanimous decision to win the vacant WBA regular title. Can y'all understand that? The WBA regular welterweight title on Saturday night at Times Square in New York City. Rolando Romero is now our champion in the 147-pound division. Boxing News 24 goes on to say Romero scored a big knockdown of Ryan in round 2. Garcia never seemed to recover from that shot to fight with the intensity that he needed to have a shot at winning. Look, as I remember, Tank Davis hit him with a shot in round 2. He got back up and he kept on fighting. He's been in situations. Even Devin Haney landed a shot in their fight that hurt Ryan Garcia. He smashed his gloves together. And he wanted to continue to bang out. But now all of a sudden, Rolly Romero, like a little Rocky story that they trying so hard to create, fooling the people. They fool the people, dog. I guarantee you, Turkey's people knew who was going to win the main event. I bet they knew. I bet they cashed out. I bet they made their coins. It goes on to say the combination of Rolly's knockdown and the constant pressure he was putting on Ryan was a key factor in the victory tonight. Ooh, that pressure was something crazy. Goes on to say Rolly outworked Garcia down the stretch in the championship rounds, controlling the action from the ninth on. Romero's punching power, y'all, kept Garcia on the defensive and unwilling to take any risks to try to land anything significant. When Ryan did start trying to get back into the fight in the mid rounds, Rolly shut him down by applying pressure with his jab and power shots. Romero was loading up on huge home run punches and barely missing. Just keeping those shots whizzing by may have kept Ryan from getting any ideas of fighting more aggressively. He didn't get to get clipped again. Garcia looked sluggish, slow, tired, and afraid throughout the fight. Now let's stop right there. I like how they're putting the freaking cape on Ryan Garcia. They want to put a nice little blanket around him and warm him up and tell him it was going to be all right by just gently, rubbing him on the back and say, you'll live to fight another day. No, he didn't look sluggish, slow, and tired. He just looked like he was playing the part. Seriously, people don't want to see it because unless someone blatantly says it, depending on what position and authority they have, these human beings today, they're not going to believe it. Think about this, people. There's 2 straight cards where you had accessible information of looking up the fighter's name, their last opponents, or further down, and you get a gist of what to expect in their performance value. That's how we do it all the time. We've had 2 fight cards where certain fighters that should have earned a stoppage wasn't even trying to earn a stoppage. Wasn't even trying, yo. There wasn't even risking it. See, in the mind of Conor Ben has said, I could care less what y'all got to say. I don't want to hear it. Call me when the conversation's over. I'm going in there and trying to sit this man down on the IR, the injury reserve. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to cause him harm. Conor Ben was like, I already know that I'm a professional fighter, but tonight I'm gonna be a vigilante. Fuck boxing. Conor Ben said, I'm a vigilante tonight. That's what I am. I'm a villain. You look at the way Conor Ben went in there and fought. Just took over that whole card. And then Conor Ben being in the building. Arguably, he has one of the most exciting performances damn near anybody that was in proximity in Times Square right now. That include the youngins. Bro. The only person that I say he didn't have a more exciting performance than he wasn't even in the building, I don't think. And that's Jahad Tucker. He wasn't even there. I think Jahad was somewhere, wherever he's at, doing what the youngins do this day and time. That's the only one that got that energy, like Conor Ben, but he's more accurate. For Conor Ben to be in the building, but yet for these fighters to make absolute mockery of U.S. boxing, I really can't feel no type of way when the UK boxing fans and they want to take shots at us and they want to say, oh man, the boxing over in the US is terrible. I mean, what do y'all have going on over there? Y'all look terrible. Look at your star fighter, supposed to be the pretty boy of boxing. He just lost to a guy who has just been the olive branch of boxing. That's what Rolly Romero has been. He's been the olive branch of boxing. Have you ever seen someone get extended the olive branch like Rolando Romero? I haven't seen any fighter ever get a position like Rolando Romero, bro. Is he anointed? Or they just somehow, some way, man, they just always want to. I cannot put my glove on it, bro. I can't put my glove on it. I don't know. Turkish nano corruption of boxing. Right under Ryan, Jose had the dumbest game plan of the night. Hey man, I think a lot of them had plans that we can consider stupid, but when they was told to do something for the money, I guarantee you don't hear any one of them complain about the money. You know, Jose gave Dev so much respect. Hell, you would have thought Dev KO percentage was above 80. I'm telling you, man, they got the money. The numbers was in the account. Man, Turkey has these cats like school kids, bro. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Turkey is the ringmaster, bro. He is the new massa of boxing. Serious. Turkey is the massa. If you ever want to see how them cats do business over there, you're seeing it firsthand in a sport that they refuse to regulate because you can have moments like this where certain people are able to make a killing. Who? I'm gonna tell you again. Who made a killing? The ones that knew Ryan Garcia wasn't gonna damn put forth effort. The ones who knew that Rolando Romero, the underdog in the main event, was sitting there like I mean, a weed growing out of the concrete. He was right freaking there in front of your face. And if you was betting on any three of them, you say, you know what? It's no way Rolando Romero is beating Ryan Garcia. But you know what? He did. And the ones who put that money at one point in time was like plus 800 and something. The ones who put that money up, man, they Saturday is going to be live. I mean, it's no telling what they're doing over there in NY right now. It's still young, bro. It's about 5 minutes to 12, bro, a.m. It's some people that really hit the lottery. Every so often, you have a fight like this. But sometimes, if you're going to bet on boxing, sometimes you just have to take a risk and say, you know, like I did. I tried to figure it out. I tried to come up, with all the evidence. I tried to produce a result to tell me, hey, this is the possibility this may have. I was wrong. I was on the wrong fight. I should have went with my first instinct and betted on Rolly just because he had such a high, underdog plus money. And I didn't do it. And you know who had the last laugh? Rolly. Rolly had the last laugh because he's walking around New York City, people taking pictures with him. You know what I'm saying? Rolly's like a teddy bear. People just taking pictures like that man ain't been walloped. Crawford was even in there. But this whole fight card, man, oh my God. It's just as much as I don't like talking about corruption, It was corrupt, in my opinion. It was corrupt, bro. And you know, I didn't have any skin in the game. Like, I could see if this was a Crawford fight. But as much as I try to do this live without mentioning Crawford, now it's heavy on my mind that Crawford Canelo is going to be even worse of a situation than what we just witnessed, unless Crawford can go in there and do and perform like Bivol did. You if you're down 4 or 5 rounds already, you have to go in there and make a stamp. You have to leave, no doubt. And just thinking about that fight being in Vegas, it don't matter. It don't matter, man, because Vegas is loving Turk right now. You know, what more do you have for us? What more can we put on the house there, Turk? I'm very worried about the Crawford fight coming up. I can give a damn about School. You know what I'm saying? School was up there dressed like Cisco and shit. But I'm worrying about what is the fight going to happen in September. We just leave that be. But for those of you that pay attention to the sweet science, shit ain't sweet. The sweet science, man, as much as it deal with overall technique and the applicable value that you get while that boxer put that on display, we're seeing the sweet science become tainted. The sweet science has become tainted, yo. The white stuff that you're supposed to see in the bottom, you know, the sugar and everything to sweeten it up. No, that's salt. That's salt. For real. That's salt. Boxing is going through a period of contamination worse than we've seen in a long time. And you're seeing fights play out over and over again that they're going the distance when you know damn well there should be a moment of thrill, suspense, intrigue. It should be one of those climactic finishes, and you're not seeing that. All you seeing is another pattern of what if did that, you know, you're up here questioning yourself on the victory, on how it played out. No, don't second guess yourself. What you're saying, just listen to me. What you're saying is absolutely right, yo. The runway has been cleared for takeoff for a long ass time. People coming and going in boxing for a long ass time. Now, this shit's a bit more technical. Turkey has his goddamn the runway goddamn shut down until he finished doing what he's doing. Then he opens it back up, folks. People that's been up there circling around for an hour or two. Now everything, okay, I'm finished doing. I'm doing. Yeah, they're cleared the land now. Turkey is taking over. And for those of you that keep on complaining about what he's doing, why he's taking over, always remember I told you this. You can't stop it. It may sound belligerent, pompous, misogynistic, narcissistic. You can't do shit about what this man got going on. Only thing you can do is just sit there and watch the fight and say, oh man, wow, he's really fucking with boxing. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. Mike in the building, I see you. Jay in the building, what's good? Jay say Devin looked like trash. Boxing fans are speaking up, bro. Boxing fans are feeling some type of way. What you feel about the fight, Jessica? What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts there, Queen? Come on, holler at us. What's your thoughts about tonight? You know what I'm saying? You don't really mince words. What's your thoughts, man? Talk to us. What did you feel? Ryan ain't nothing without his power pellets. I don't know, BG. Shout out to BG. Bud gonna stop Canelo in the building, man. I don't know if that was it, bro. No, I just don't see it. Because look, check this out. we can all go back to when we went through the critical period of learning, right? Basic education, and we learned certain things. And this is not to question the intelligence of anybody in the hottest chat in the MFing game, right? But when you learn something for the first time, whether it was scientific, mathematical, you know what I'm saying, just common history, you learned it, and whatever it was, if it stuck with you, it was for a reason that it stuck with you. Now, that doesn't mean once you graduate, let's just say you graduated from high school, the basic education. If you don't go out here and read up on your social studies or your science, or let's say biology, mathematics, or whatever, maybe in math, but when you taught something, just because you don't go out here and practice it every day doesn't mean you forgot the day that you learned it, right? You just don't forget the day you learn that. So I'm applying that to boxing. If you went to all these amateur tournaments and you've made it up to this point in the professional ranks, you don't forget how to throw punches. You just select not to throw punches. I know people were saying about Devin that maybe he took some punishment. He was trigger shy. No, I don't think that's the case. Or it could be the case. I'm not sure. But what was wrong with him? He wasn't on pads. He's never been on pads. But he was gun shy in certain exchanges, and his footwork wasn't there. But he did fight a smart fight. You know, he did fight a smart fight. But I was puzzled looking at supposedly his future opposition in a much anticipated high stakes, y'all. High stakes rematch. I'm talking about it doesn't get any better than that. Derailed by Rolly Romero. Boy, you want to talk about some. Come on now. Rolly Romero came out of nowhere. What, Devin Haney was on the ring thinking that he was about to be announced. And Rolando Romero won the fight. I mean, who was flabbergasted? Like I was. I wasn't flabbergasted because of the decision. I was flabbergasted because Ryan Garcia did very minimal to prevent that decision from happening. That's all I'm saying. What's crazy, folks ask me why points was such a big deal to me in this win. It means Rolly Romero outsmarted Ryan Garcia on the IQ level and output. It means Rolly outboxed Ryan tonight. You know, I have to reply to that, Swat Jones. And my reply is, was it really Rolly who showed an advanced IQ? Or was it Ryan Garcia who took his feet or took his foot off of the gas? He wasn't as overpowering as he usually is. Think about how aggressive Ryan Garcia was against Gervonta Davis in the opening rounds. Think about that. So you're trying to tell me you forget about that? You don't forget about how to be aggressive. If you're a fighter, and that's in your DNA, that's what your practice. You know what I'm saying? You've been known to come out there and have a quick start, right? I mean, Ryan Garcia came out here acting like Rolly Romero was just this beast. This is a guy who did speed drills on the reaction bag, made videos in the process of him climbing the ladder for notoriety. He made viral videos. Where was that hand speed? You trying to tell me it was just pads? Pads was the reason why Ryan Garcia chose to be completely naive and dumb to putting punch combinations together with speed and accuracy after he just did it to Devin Haney, and all of a sudden off the pads, what does it do? It forced a data release. It erases the goddamn cookies up top. You're trying to tell me it does a freaking server swipe? All your information is gone? Is that's what I'm hearing? That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable, Swah. I can't take that. No, no, no. No, I cannot even frame that in a sentence that makes sense to say that Rolly Romero was outsmarted Ryan Garcia. That's why he won. That's rubber arms right there. You're reaching with rubber arms, man. You're stretching it. Dang. See what I'm talking about, people? I mean, this fight that happened yesterday has people up in arms, yo. And just to think, they thought it was going to be a sequel. And Ryan Garcia knew all along. You remember? Do y'all actually remember? I hate to say, do y'all remember? But do you remember when I said that Rolly Romero leaned back in the chair and him and Ryan Garcia like dapped each other up and was like, I say right then and there, they ain't angry with one another and something fishy is about to happen. I thought it was going to be Rolando Romero getting knocked out. Just think about that. Just think about that. Think about when Isaac Cruz stopped Romero. Think about when Tank stopped Romero, because he only has 2 losses, and both of them via stoppages. He was kind of like on a Jorge Linares track, but now he picked up another belt. Can't stop, won't stop. Come on, man. That's the golden child. Rolando Romero has stripped Ryan Garcia, who I used to call the golden child. Now he is the appointed golden child of boxing. Rolando Romero, not so much based off his talent and skill set, but how he's continued to be blessed, y'all. This guy continues to be blessed over and over and over. Man, we in a state of confusion, discombobulation, psychological depression, because people up here watching shit and they know it's not within the realm of normality, but they continue to treat it like it's such. They just keep on brushing over. It's okay. It's okay. No. I thought Ryan Garcia had his best showing tonight. It was just Rolly who stepped up. No. It wasn't Rolly. Put the one down. Show David Copperfield where the door. Tell David Blaine, oh, it's okay. Go back out there and do some street magic. Tell the 2 Davids to leave your home, because obviously the whole time they've been brainwashing you. You're not going to come up here and tell me that this shit is for real. So let me show you something else you might like. This is the copy box. Yeah, let's get to the copy box numbers, because everything was based off what? Everything was based off Ryan Garcia been dropped in the second round. Let's go to the final punch stat report at the bottom. Garcia landed total punches landed, right? 66, y'all, out of 210. That was a whopping night of action, wasn't it? Romero, 57. So you telling me Ryan Garcia landed more total punches, huh? Than Romero? Let's go to total jabs, okay? Total jabs. Garcia landed 48 out of 162. Romero landed 39 out of 215. This is copy box numbers. So there's 2 categories, 2 separate sections on the copy box banner that depicts a numeric system based off whoever's over there counting these punches. That Garcia, 2 out of the 3 outlanded Romero. Let's go over here to the power punches. The power punches. Garcia, 18 out of 48. Romero, 18 out of 65. But yet, Ryan Garcia lost the fight. Once again, Garcia total punches 66 out of 210, and Romero landed 57 out of 280. A slight difference in percentages, but you see the numbers. Total jabs, Garcia 48 out of 162 to Romero's 39 out of 215. Hocus pocus. They just think I'd be up here talking. But I told them it was something strange and weird going on. I tried to tell them. But they think we need to be in the infirmary with the lights off to experience some paranormal activity for them to get scared straight. I'm trying to tell you with the lights on. But you ain't want to listen. They don't want to listen. I say, man, these fights go the distance. You already know what it is. They don't want to take accountability for what they're witnessing. They just say, hey, I just want to go up here and talk some bullshit. These cats today, they just want to go over here and talk on some, some shit that doesn't have to do with reality. It's all about fantasy tales. You know what I'm saying? Just almost like you're a screenwriter. You've seen these cats fight. You've seen these dudes fight. But you really think that Rolly Romero had an outstanding night? I just can't process that. I can't do it, bro. I'm unable to process that. I'm just not in the condition to process it. Real talk. Rolly missed all 3 shots with them combos, and the ref stopped it. Pops was spanking Rolly that night, man. Now you can put your whole bank account on the fight tomorrow. Cinnamon buns by knockout within 6. See, Haynes, this is what I got to go back to, right? It automatically activates the shystiness. You know what I'm saying? The clever, sly activities that I've been witnessing. And I'm saying, is Cinnamon going to do what we believe Cinnamon's supposed to do? And I have to go back to yesterday. I'm saying, well, did it happen over there? No, none of them did it. So I look at it like this, Haynes. I'm saying, is it possible for Canelo, who has pretty much did the same thing his last 4 to 5 fights, is he planning on going to dissing with Williams School? It's not Skull, y'all. School. Okay. They corrected on the presser. Is he going the distance with Williams School? Because we know goddamn well Williams School is not winning. This is not going to be a Rolando Romero double header. I don't think it's going to happen. But will he get stopped in 6, 5, 4? Or will he take them to the final bell? I thought that Ryan Garcia was going to start Rolly early so that we can really hype up the Devin Haney fight, right? This shit didn't happen. So now that I come to Canelo Alvarez, I say, is there a possibility that I can just be sure about? And we're talking about May, right? June, July, August. A little outside of 3 months. Because the fight between him and Crawford is supposed to be September 13th. The second weekend is in the month, right? Do we really need to see a knockout from Canelo Alvarez to build this fight up with Crawford? No, we don't need it. The fight is going to sell itself regardless. This is one of those fights with 2 names that has all the freaking spark it needs, all the dang selling value, 2 of the highest boxing fight codes in the sport. They don't need a knockout. Canelo don't need to knock out Skull. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's going to have some fans out here that's making Skull seem like, he was freaking Ezra Charles. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're going to try to compare him to the greats, yo. They're going to try their best to compare this man to the greats. If Canelo knocks him out, they're going to be like, oh, man, Canelo is one of the best. He's at the top now. He should be top pound for pound, knocking off William Skull. He's 2-time undisputed. Now that's gonna look good, but to be honest with you, I don't think that we need to see a knockout. Does that mean I don't think a knockout will happen? You know what? To be honest, I want it gonna happen. I mean, it's gonna happen. It needs to happen. But after, based off what I've seen with these 2 other fight cards, the initiative is there, yo. The initiative for disappointment has been activated a while ago. Serious. I don't want to go back to LA. I'm thinking to myself now, I wonder if Crawford really could have stopped Madrimov that night. Or Turkey just wanted him to go the distance for entertainment value. I have to put that in my catalog. All these big fights are going the distance somehow, some way. Unless you got a styrofoam, silly putty freaking chin like Anthony Joshua. Rolly pound for pound. I can't even freaking finish that. How dare you have the audacity to put that in the chat, Carlos? How dare you even compare Rolly when Ryan Garcia wasn't even nowhere close within the neighborhood, the proximity, the geographical location of a pound for pound neighborhood dwelling. Even in the conversation of the voting, Ryan Garcia wasn't there. So tell me, how does Rolly get credited for receiving an invite to the pound for pound list based off becoming a WBA? Not the super champion. He didn't go in there and take the belt from Boots. He's the WBA Reggie champion. Yeah, the same belt that Tank has, and they criticize him forever and a day until he was elevated. To be honest, he has Tank's old belt. I'm not trying to rain on the parade. I always say this about Kell Brook having Sean Porter belt and EJ taking it from Kell Brook. Well, I'm going to put it out there, goddammit. I'm going to be petty because people always mention Tank. I know Tank had, freaking the WBA title at 140. But Rolly was in the WBA freaking sanctioning body, and Tank was there before him. There was a coming opponent. I got to be petty, you know what I'm saying? Because he's a WBA Reggie holder at 147. And it's some people that had that belt already. I think at one point, Yadinas Ugas had that belt too. There's been Reggie belt holders like Tank that people criticize, but they didn't criticize the David Morrells of boxing. Then you got Rolly Romero have people in the chat saying he should be on the pound for pound list. God damn. I like his personality more than his fighting style, but he seemed dope for sure. I'm in all listening to them saying Rolly showed patience with his jab. Oh my God. No, they not, man. Are we back on the patience again? That's the same thing we heard with Madrimov. Oh my God. Just looking back at that fight, he shows such discipline and patience with every muscle in my body to hold back. I had to control myself from an outburst of praise and joy to exalt him. I mean, I guess that's the key word now. Discipline. Not the sweet science, not boxing IQ, but discipline. Discipline, y'all. Patience. Patience, y'all. They sometimes compare patience and discipline like they're synonyms. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know what this is going on, bro. Bring on the robots next. You know what I'm saying? Bring on the lab growers. Bring on those guys, man. Put them in the ranking systems. We need to shake it up. All this damn, fakery that's going on. Just bring in the goddamn robots and have them compete against them. Okay. You know, give them the ample pay because they'll never fight again after they finish. Give them the biggest paycheck of their life and put them in there with a robot. Fuck it. Shout out to Blue Hustle in the building, man. What's good with you, bro? Yeah, man. Rolly is the olive branch of boxing, boy. Every time you turn around, he is getting gifted. They are showing him love. The love that you don't often see in the sports such as boxing. Oh my God. Shout out to him. Congratulations. You have been anointed. Blue said, no heart fight card. Very sad. I thought there was some heart out there. You know what I'm saying? A heart that they chose to just use sparingly. They didn't really want their blood pressure to increase or their pulse. No, they just kept that shit very low key. You know what I'm saying? Just low key. Calm. And that P word, y'all. We gotta implement the P word with the D word. Patience. Discipline. Patience. Come on now. Don't let that shit get you lethargic. Come on, get active. Patience. Discipline. Okay? Remember that. That is the new word of acceptance to get you in the door with approval of the fight fans. What's the key word? Patience. Okay? Stop playing. It's patience. I'm watching Turkey from here on out. If what you're saying is true or even somewhat close, Turkey messing up the church's money. We don't need more manipulation in the sport. Well, Swat Jones, let me tell you like this, brother. I don't know if you've seen Sinners yet. I'm not. You make me start to laugh a little bit, giggle, because you talk about the church's money. But you don't know. The devil's been kicking over offering trays for years. It ain't no such thing as the church's money no more. Come on, man. You need to go watch the movie Sinners, man, and give you a better interpretation of what's going on in boxing. God damn it. You know, it'll give you a real good interpretation of what we're dealing with right now. You know, just go watch Sinners a bit and then get back with me. This has nothing to do with church. If it's dealing with church, it's on fire. That's what it is. It's on fire. Before made his system, what's going on? Commission. What's good? What's good? What's going on, Benny? He said the Times Square setup was funky. I bet it smelled funky over there too. I bet it smelled funny too. No doubt. I appreciate you as always, man. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for dropping by, man. You already know. No doubt. Dan Tan in the building. What's good with it, Dan? But my people, it's been a pleasure coming on here. I do want to let y'all know that I'm going to be on here tomorrow. And I really want to talk about what I've been hearing about this gorilla versus 100 men. I am going to give my take on the bullshit. But I want to talk to you all today about this bullshit. Don't let it consume you, because that can be very grueling mentally. Don't let it consume you. Just understand that who does Turkey answer to? If you have a grievance, who are you going to complain to? Who are you going to write? Real talk, I'm being honest. Who are you going to grieve to? Who? Just let me know. Who are you going to complain to? So if you can't find that person's name, then you need to just lower your defense mechanisms and find a way on how to filter through it without stressing yourself out. You have options whether to watch certain cards or not watch them. But always ask your question. Always ask yourself, who do you complain to if you have a grievance about Turki Al-Sheikh? It's nobody. This man is doing what he wants to do, and this is a prime example, straight in your face, on how certain situations can be infiltrated. There's been a cornerstone over in the U.S. for quite some time. Boxing. Look how many different angles and ways that is being pulled now. Look how it's being stretched out and distorted. Look how it's being played with. Look at the state of chaos that boxing is in. How does fans supposed to take this shit serious? And it's almost like a nightclub. You know what I'm saying? You know how much gambling goes on in a nightclub back in the day? The boxing is just coming like a nightclub. You don't know what to expect in this sport. Don't stress yourself out over it, though. But y'all hold it down as always. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game, A-Side Official. Until next time, I'm out.